you talk in your book about creative applications.
Yes.
How important is it to be creative in how you apply for positions? And are there any top tips that you'd recommend in terms of how to go about it or things that have worked in the past?
So creative applications are anything other than sending a CV and cover letter, which is the standard way to apply for a PR job. And my advice always would be to judge your audience carefully, because if you are sending an application to a public sector department, for example, it's unlikely that a creative application is going to have much impact. In fact, it'll probably be seen as inappropriate. So you just want to be careful about who you send them to. That said, if you're applying to a kind of funky digital agency or a consumer brand agency, quite often they'll want you to do something that makes you stand out. So a couple of the PR agencies that do grad schemes, for example, specifically ask that you don't send CV and cover letters and you send something.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. So they could ask for, and for those kinds of applications, I've seen things like one candidate sent her CV in on cupcakes. There was one candidate who sent a singogram. Somebody else who put their CV up on a billboard. There was somebody who wrote, did a London tube map, and each line on the tube map was like, one was education, one was experience, one was hobbies, and then each stop had a different thing on it. So you can have, there are really good ways of impressing employers with creative applications if you think about it carefully, but you have to think about what's appropriate for that employer. Increasingly, I was speaking to an MD of an agency last week who's about to start recruiting for PR interns, and he asked for no CVs, but they asked for a 1-minute YouTube video, and that's increasingly common because they want to see, are you articulate? Can you speak well? Can you get your point across in a minute? Can you be persuasive? So that's why people are increasingly moving away from CVs into how can we get to see people quickly and then for them to make an impact in front of us.
Interesting. I can see why it would be the application on cupcakes probably went down quite well with the team.
Yeah, or straight to their stomach. It's the way forward, I think.
Yeah. But as you mentioned, the key is just to make sure that you're tailoring it to the specific audience.
Yeah, exactly.
And also these things, you've got to take time. You've got to think about them clearly and put a lot of effort in to make sure that they land and are successful.
Yeah.